Hello, I'm Congressman Don Young, and I just want to talk to you a moment about an article written on October 12th by a lady named Chantel Pence. Actually, she's the author of Homestead Girl and The View from Here. And I read the article and I thought, she strikes a note with me about hunting moose and what moose mean to us as Alaskans. I am one that was raised on a ranch that used to slaughter all our animals and not hunt them, but slaughter them. And I learned how to process and utilize most of the animals that we did process. So I came to Alaska and I started hunting moose, which is my favorite. I've hunted caribou and I've hunted sheep, but moose is my favorite because I see such quality there. This is really God's gift to the Alaskan people. The animal itself is magnificent. The animal itself provides a great deal of protein for the families. And I suggest to you that hunt moose. Really cherish that animal in a sense that keep the animal. There's only one thing of the animal you can't eat, and that is the lungs. I'm not found a way to do that. Dogs won't even eat them. I don't eat them, but I eat everything else. And Chantel, Pence's article talked about the bones and, all the rest of the good things, the kidneys, the liver, the heart, the fat, the tripe, the stomach total, which is tripe, and even we call menas cap, the fat around the stomach. The colon, it's all edible, including the hoofs and the ears. There's nothing not edible in that moose, but the hide, and you could probably eat that, but we tan it and make things out of it. But more than that, when you think about that animal, what it can provide for you, when I see someone shoot a moose and take and bone it out, they call it. All they do is take the meat, the red part. They don't even take the fat. And the fat's probably the best part of the animal. And they don't take any of the innards at all. And I think that's a terrible waste. Like I said before, I've eaten every part of that moose but the lungs. I have one favorite recipe that I use. It is, a lot of people look at me kind of strangely, but if you look at a fat moose, and it has to be a fat moose, you take the colon right before the anus, cut it off, and you cut it off where the small intestine goes in, the big intestine goes in the colon, and then you take and cut it off both ends, and you take and turn it wrong side out with the fat going on the inside because it's got marbled fat. And then you take and wash and clean it all off, which is the right thing to do, and then tie one end, and then grind the meat or even chunks. So I grind the meat into hamburger meat and season it. And then I stuff the rest of the colon with that meat, and then tie it off again. And then I put it in the oven in a big pan, and I cook it for about 365, 72. You can use a thermometer for about, I'd say, 2 hours or hour and a half. It depends on how it absorbs, but it cooks the fat with the meat. And then you take it out and chill it. You don't chill it, just leave it room temperature. Then you slice it in thin slices like you would bologna or anything else. It's the finest eating part of the moose. And I say these things because people waste. It's a terrible waste for an animal magnificent as the moose. They take and lose those things that have the greatest nutrition and the greatest benefit to mankind and throw them away or let the crows eat it or the camp robbers. So I ask all of you to maybe get hold of Chantel or myself, and I can show you how to eat that moose, including the hooves. And people laugh at me in the hooves. That was used mainly by the Alaska Native people for a reason, because they take and made the nails sharper, made them stronger, and they last longer and didn't split. If you bake the hooves and then split them after they're cooled off, inside there is a very deep gel, and you take and use that on a cracker or something else, and it's really very good to eat. I can go on down the line, but I ask each one of you who goes moose hunting next year, because most of the time moose season is over, eat the whole animal. Cherish that animal that God has given us in Alaska, the finest, magnificent food source in Alaska. Enjoy yourselves, but remember, cherish it. God bless you all. God bless Alaska.